Raise your hand if you've drilled in the last week or so. We'll call drilling, or I call drilling, any non-game based tennis activity. So hitting cross courts, a clinic where you're waiting in line and you know exactly where the next ball's coming and what you're supposed to do with it. Hitting serves out of a hopper, a ball machine, that's a total waste of time. Let me look out there. Okay, I see Phil. And ooh, I see Carson. And I see Angela. So romper room. Anyway, drilling is a total waste of time. Here's what we know. Here's what the research has shown. Here's what we can prove about motor skills development. There's 4 keys. Number 1 is specificity. Your practice should be as specifically as, is that the right word? Specifically should mimic as specifically as possible what you're training for, as in a match. Number 2, randomness and variability. Okay, the more random the practice, the more closely it resembles match play, the more improvement you get. It's pretty simple. Number 3, whole skill training. Okay, for years, and I don't know why this persists because there's no research supporting it, but for years we believe that progression training works. And then progression training is we break a skill into its smaller components and then somehow magically it transforms into a whole skill. This is bullshit. There's no proof, like I said, and it simply doesn't work. Okay, so a whole skill, I mean, we could go like this: a whole skill of a forehand is a forehand, a whole skill of a backhand, obviously a backhand, the whole skill of a point and a match is the thing. You want to play better points, you got to play points. And the 4th key is what we call contextual interference, and it's interference in or noise in your practice that closely mimics what you're training for. Again, a match. So matches have long pauses in between points and even longer pauses in between changeovers. All this has to be included in your training for your training to be effective. Again, balls out of hoppers. Anytime you know where the ball is not coming or where the ball is coming next, a waste of time. Not training you for what you want to get better at. In 1994, I think it was, a group of researchers, I'll put the links to this underneath, the name of the study and the link underneath so you can research it or read it at your own leisure. But they took a team of, these researchers took a team of college baseball players. And there were 30 players, and they broke them into 3 groups of 10. And what they said was, or the study was, hey, Group A, we're going to give you each group 3 extra batting practices a week. I think it was 3. I can't remember, 2 or 3. But anyway, some regular amounts of extra batting practice a week. You're going to get 45 extra pitches in each batting practice. And Group A, you're going to know exactly what those pitches are. So you're going to get 15 curveballs, 15 sliders, 15 fastballs. Group B, we're not going to tell you what you're getting. And Group C, well, we don't need to tell you what you're getting because you're not getting any practice. Periodically through the study, they asked the groups, hey, are you getting better? And this is kind of where it gets interesting. Group A, who knew what was coming all the time, they asked them, are you guys getting better? Well, fuck yeah, we're getting better, man. I'm tatering the ball. You see that? Because it turns out by the time you see your 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th fastball in a row, you know exactly what's coming. You're grooved, right? Group B, the group who had no clue what was coming next, they thought they were sucking. No, they're not getting better. No, we're not getting better. They said we're getting worse. And I don't think they bothered to ask Group C, but I'm not sure about that. You can check in the study. When the study concluded, they compiled the results, and here's what's really interesting. Group A did get better. A lot better, like 15, 16% better if I recall. But Group B, the group that was sure they were getting worse, got twice as much better as Group A. And I think what this all suggests is that maybe when you're getting better, it feels like you're sucking. So let's go back, to everybody's favorite drill, just playing cross courts. Okay, yeah, so when you start, you can't hit 3 in a row. And then all of a sudden, after 15 minutes, we can hit like 20, 30 balls in a row, and you go, oh my God, I got better today. Bullshit, you didn't get better. Your mind just got grooved to what's coming. And there's some research about this too. It turns out that when you don't know what's coming, your mind has to keep every possible model available. So it's got a model for a forehand, a high forehand, a low forehand, a model for running forehand, and the same on the backhand side. And like the dude at the circus, it's got to keep the plate spinning. Since it doesn't know what's coming, it's got to keep all the models active. That's why it feels so hard. When you know what's coming, like a cross-court forehand, you got to keep one model going. It's much simpler for your brain. That's why you feel like you're getting better. And then when you go to play some points afterwards, you suck again. And so it boils down to those 4 points. It boils down to the concept that block training, the same thing, hitting 200 serves in a row, doesn't work. Because there's never a moment in a match where you get to hit 200 serves in a row or the serve until you get it right. 50 years ago, a guy named Bruce Lee figured this all out too. He took a martial arts training, which was based on progressions and controlled environments, and he said, look, what are we training for? A street fight. Man, in a street fight, a guy's not going to stop when he could hit you. He's going to fucking hit you. He's going to knock you down. And he's going to be on top of you. And you're going to have to use your skills and scramble and survive. And so what he did was, in probably what was the first actual Fight Club, although he never talked about it, he took his group of descendants down into a basement, and they repurposed sports gear like catchers, face masks, and chest protectors, and beat the shit out of each other. That's what they did. And then, when they got pretty good with each other, they went out and challenged the martial artists in martial arts tournaments and beat the shit out of those guys too. Because this is how you get better. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. The 4 components: specificity, variability, whole training, contextual interference. Okay, progressions don't work, block training doesn't work, drilling doesn't work. Goodbye.